they'll see us and talk to us and see the love in our family and know that we're here to get answers as to what happened to her, not that we did this to her. But we were very, very wrong. My name is Rachel Tallon. My family, I have 2 girls. My husband is Wyatt Tallon, and our 2 girls are Nora. She is 5. She'll be 6 on May the 1st. And then we have Josie, who just turned 1 on October the 17th. And we are from Georgia in Bartow County. Up until it's been over a year at this point, we were just a happy, normal, go-lucky family until January of 2025. Before January of 2025, we had just gone through our first holiday season with 2 beautiful little girls, and we had just got done with Christmas and New Year's and all that, so we were still, on a holiday buzz, I guess you could say. Everything started on January 7th of 2025. Josie was on the couch in her boppy pillow as usual. She had really bad acid reflux, so a lot of times at night she would get we could tell she was needing to sit up. She would kind of push herself up as far as she could. So even though she was already sitting up on the pillow, she was pushed up as she would push up even further. When Wyatt turned around to grab a bottle for her, it was time for her to eat so that we could start getting her ready for bed. He said it happened so fast. He just doesn't really know exactly. He didn't see it happen. He just knows that she fell off the couch, and he came running, and picked her up. She stopped crying immediately. He gave her the bottle and she went to sleep and everything seemed fine. But she started acting funny, not until Monday. So the pediatrician looked at her, and she was like, it's really weird. I know she has acid reflux really bad. It could be something called Sanford syndrome. She was like, but let's take her to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta just to make sure. They did a CT of her head. They said that she had a skull fracture. They were like, has she fallen anytime? And he was like, well, yeah, she fell off the couch. They were like, okay, well, we're going to need to do a skeletal survey. Okay, we thought that was just normal procedure. We had no idea. While I was in the imaging with her before they had any results back at all, a social worker came down and pulled Wyatt into a room and was talking to him. I didn't understand, why would there be a social worker already talking to you? Why would there be a social worker at all? After that, they came back and gave us the skeletal survey results and told us that she had, fractures. They never showed us the imaging, but they told us that she had fractures, multiple fractures that were all in different stages of healing. It made no sense. And we were like, different stages of healing? How old could they be? And they couldn't give us that time frame either. The only imaging they showed us was up her head. What could have happened? We had no idea. Of course, we were sick to our stomachs. We wanted to just absolutely throw up. Basically, as they're wheeling us up to PICU, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to get our child advocacy team and DFACs involved. They're going to have to investigate this. And I've at the time I was like, sure, whatever you need to do. I had no idea. I just was like, surely they'll see us and talk to us and see the love in our family and know that we're here to get answers as to what happened to her, not that we did this to her. But we were very, very wrong. Everything was kind of a blur after that. They confirmed that there was no bleeding behind her eyes. They're adamant that there was shearing on her head as if she was shaken. DFACs came, child advocacy came. We had no idea that they were child abuse pediatricians. They never told us. We had to bring Nora up there for a forensic checkup to make sure that she, wasn't harmed in any way. And of course that was traumatizing to Nora because she couldn't understand why she was having to get undressed by a weird male doctor that she had never seen before. There was pretty much nothing I can do. She immediately placed us on a safety plan, removing Josie and Nora from our care. And for a 4-year-old who is very attached to her parents and a newborn baby, it's just, I don't know how you explain that to them. I don't know how you explain to a 4-year-old that she can't come home. They kicked us out of the hospital. So security guards escorted us out, and I had to pretty much just leave my baby. I had to just leave her in the hospital by herself until my parents could get there. After that is when things got worse. The sheriff's department said they wanted to interview us and take pictures of our house and come and see where everything happened. And I didn't know it at the time, but they were gathering information to give back to the child abuse pediatrician, basically, so that she can decide if what we're saying actually happened. They made us go to the sheriff's department, and they had us separated and questioned us. He just kept asking us what we did to our child, and we couldn't give him an answer because we didn't do anything. And he came back in with a paper basically saying that we couldn't have any contact with our children at all. Not being able to see or talk to my children was, the lowest thing he could do. And it just felt like punishment because we didn't admit to something we didn't do. Well, I got a call from our case manager the next day, Sydney, who said that we could come up to the DFACS office and we were going to discuss the safety plan again because she didn't like that there was no contact. I could tell that she didn't agree with it. So we were like, okay, well, we'll stop on the way by the sheriff's department to get our phones. But when we went back inside, they took us around and they said that we were being put under arrest and they wouldn't tell us why, like what changed. Now I know what changed. What changed is that fellow child abuse pediatrician said, oh yeah, her injuries aren't possible. That's not what happened. Basically, she made that determination without having genetic testing back. We had some back. We had to beg them for genetic testing at CHOA anyways. They just arrested us. My parents had no idea what was going on. Even DFACS didn't know that they were going to do that to us. So they were still just like waiting for us to get there. And apparently the investigator ended up calling our case manager and telling her what happened. And of course it was just, my poor parents were just distraught. I was scared I'd never see my babies again. I was scared that I was just going to be stuck there and they would just be left wondering what happened to me. We weren't allowed to call anybody until they put us in general population, and we were told that it was because they had 24 hours to add charges. They charged me and my husband both with 6 counts each of aggravated assault and cruelty to children. I was still postpartum. Like, she was only 80 days old. We had a bond modification hearing in February to try to get bond modified so I could see Josie again, and it was denied. What we did was got my parents their own attorneys, and we filed to get my parents legal custody of them. So that was granted temporary legal custody. And on the day that the Tims were found not guilty, actually, I got a text message from my attorney at the time saying DFACS decided to close their case. When DFACS was no longer involved, the only thing was that we still had to abide by, our bond conditions. So there was no more safety plan and DFACS was no longer involved, which was amazing. I would like to say that they could see that we weren't the monsters that they were trying to portray us to be. On April 28th, we finally got to have a bond modification hearing. And when the time came, Judge Suzanne Smith pretty much just called us up there with our attorneys, and they also called my parents up there. She actually wanted to speak to them. And Suzanne Smith made it very clear that she had just sat through a trial very similar, meaning the Tims, and she can see how much devastation it brings families and how much harm it can do a child to not have any contact with them and to not be with the parent. She lifted the bond condition. They were able to come back home with us, and they've been back home with us since then. Yeah, we have our children back now. However, we don't have legal custody technically. We still have the criminal charges. They haven't dropped those. I was diagnosed with HEDS, and they said that there's a 50% chance that Josie has it as well. We finally got some of the test results back from CHOA. They showed that everything was normal. Her dihydroxy vitamin D was extremely elevated. When my parents took her back for her 2-week follow-up with the child advocacy team, they asked about that and they just shrugged it off as if they said that that's not relevant, that it doesn't matter. But the fact that I was on Zofran, the fact that I was on iron, the fact that I took so many Tums from just having such bad heartburn throughout my pregnancy, apparently all of that are factors into what could have contributed to her bone development issues. She has been prescribed vitamin D drops by her now orthopedic surgeon, because throughout all this time she's been in physical therapy, we've always noticed that her hips were tight, and it kind of seemed like it hurt her to be standing on them. I looked at the skeletal survey. It said, when it got down to the section about her hips, it said there was no abnormalities in her hips. We went to the orthopedic surgeon through Wellstar, and she did x-rays on her hips, and she immediately was like, oh yeah, her hips are very displaced. She has had hip dysplasia this whole time. Then we kind of had to go in and give her our backstory on everything. She wanted to see the imaging from CHOA, and as soon as she looked at the skeletal survey, she was shocked. She could not believe that they missed it, but her hips were completely displaced then as well. And it had gotten so bad, she said that if they would have caught it back then when she was still young, we could have done braces and it would have been fine. As old as she is now, and has really the only option is to correct it is surgery. This is one of the most intense surgeries that she would ever have to perform on someone this little, that she would have to be in a body cast, that they had to shave her bone to make a hip socket and kind of take bone from her leg to create the hip socket. And then they were gonna have to put metal in to hold it all together. This whole thing has just been, a nightmare. I hate that she's had to go through that. I know that she won't remember it, but I remember, and it's just more trauma to me because I'm having to put her through it. If they wouldn't have been so focused on finding something that wasn't there, she wouldn't be in the position she's in right now, and I hate it. My husband, he was indicted right before Christmas. We've had that hanging over our head. We knew that there could be an indictment at any time. I haven't been indicted yet, and it's almost like I'm just waiting for another shoe to drop. I'm just glad that now people are realizing that this happens, because I feel like a lot of the people, and it took me a while to actually go public with any of this because it was almost like shame and embarrassment, I guess. But seeing other families and seeing You Are the Power promote and support all of these families and stuff gave myself permission, I guess, to stop feeling that shame and that embarrassment and decide to go public with it, because it's important that people know that this can happen, and it's important to know that what to do if because I had no idea what to do. And there's so many other families out there that have it's just heartbreaking that they've gone this long without seeing their children. And it was excruciating for me. The 3 to 4 months that I had no contact with Josie as a baby was excruciating, so I couldn't imagine having to go even further. I say when this is all over, but in my mind I'm thinking if it's all over. I know that there will be an ending. It's just, it seems so far and scary